everybody. I was just typing in the chat. I'm like, dang it, I clicked the old one.
I just saw.
I was like, oh, okay, we can take it back.
I need to just
remove it.
So I stopped accidentally hitting it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to tonight's episode of Authortubers React. We've got 3 of my co-hosts are with me tonight, and I'm going to let them go ahead and introduce themselves. And then we've got 2 very interesting topics that we're going to dive into. So if you would like to start, Zara, take it away.
Sure. My name is Zara Hoffman. I'm a self-published author, one half of the Writers Podcast, which is currently on hiatus, and most importantly, currently the founder of Inimitable Books, LLC, a small publishing company dedicated to uplifting marginalized voices without pigeonholing authors into writing about their trauma. Our first title, The Legionnaire, which actually got a new cover, which is all over our social media, but I don't currently have a physical copy of it, is coming out this October 3rd, 2023. It is a sword and sorcery fantasy novel with magic, secrets, and a lot of fighting. And then our second title, Down the Well by Veronica King, who you might know better as Kelly Wright or Inksteady here on YouTube. This is coming out December 5th, 2023, and it is a young adult portal fantasy with Alice in Wonderland vibes, familial trauma, and talking animals.
As one does.
Yeah.
I love it. Hello, friends. I'm Desiree M. Ortega. You can find me on YouTube at Coffee Reading Writing. I post weekly videos Wednesdays. I stream Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern over on YouTube, Right by the Moon live streams. I also now stream on Twitch Tuesday through Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern New York time. Twitch.tv/Desiree M. Ortega. And I am currently also now part of a co-writing duo and the pen name is Desiree. So that we have our official release coming very soon. We have 2 freebies out currently that you can get when you sign up for our newsletter. So exciting stuff. Barrett.
Nice.
Hi, I'm Barrett Laurie. I am 1/4 of this. I am 1/3 of Writer's Room, which is the second Tuesday of every month with Morgan Lee and Tiffany Russell, the other half of Desiree. And let's see, what else do I do? Oh, Authortubers React with Margaret Pinard, the second Saturday of every month. And then I'm going to be starting in the next couple of weeks a new stream that is in the mornings, weekly, that is prompts, where I'm going to be doing giving you guys prompts, and then I'm going to write during the sprints, and then have you all write, and then we'll workshop the pieces together. And then that's going to grow into a little publishing thing I'm going to do later in the year. So yeah, so that's me.
And you're here on my channel. I'm Nia, the Vixen of Fiction. I co-host this show with these lovely people. Also, we have Charliee and Esther, who is going to be hanging out in the chat with us tonight, our other co-hosts. And I also host Scripting the Book, which we do once a month. Coming up, we have Shadow and Bone. We're going to try and go through season 1 and season 2 with Zara Hoffman. Woohoo! Fingers crossed. And
I won't go on a giant rant, I promise.
We're just going to hand the show over to Zara and be like, Zara, take it away. And my co-hosts with that are Natalie and Ben, and they're fabulous. If most of you in the community know them, they are really fantastic people. And I do live streams on Tuesday night on YouTube and throughout the week on Twitch. So that's where you can find me. And I didn't do banners this time. Like, I was this close to being able to take a nap. Didn't happen. This close. So close. I laid down. The nap didn't happen, but my body was like, yes. I did some furniture moving today, and it was just like, yeah, I felt that. So today we have 2 topics, and I'll let my co-hosts decide which one we're going to talk about first. But we have Kouri Richins, who has unalived her husband and apparently was under investigation. But during this time, she wrote a children's book on grief. And then, of course, we have New Leaf literary agency, who unexpectedly to the authors released.
Firing them? I wanted to ask Zara. Isn't it like an agent?
Is it called firing?
Well, isn't it kind of? Aren't you firing your client, or isn't it like a severing of the relationship?
Well, okay, I'll explain what happened if that's the topic that we pick. But
do we want to go with that?
Nia, I'm adding banners for you.
Yes, thank you. If
Yay.
you guys want, we can go ahead and jump right in, because a lot of people might not understand what exactly is going on.
Yeah.
But I do want to say this as we're talking about it, because there have been some rumblings on the interwebs that this is why you shouldn't get an agent. This is why indie publishing is the way to go, because no, there's good and bad in both. So
Yes.
if you are still
Having an
querying,
agent opens a lot of doors for you.
yes,
It
can still be a very good thing. If that's the route that you're going to go, let this be a cautionary tale and something that you're aware of, especially as you're finding an agent, to do your due diligence the best you can, because your book is your book, baby. And you're going to want the best outcome and the best experience that you can get. So don't let this be a discouragement. And if you're out there and you're indie all the way, don't do that to your querying friends. It's a stressful enough time for them as it is. And they can throw it right back, because there's a lot of stuff on the indie side
there's a lot of shade to throw at both sides. You don't really need to do that.
None is superior. They are all different. They're just different.
Yes.
They both have pros, they both have cons.
Yes.
You are always going to be the biggest supporter of your book. If you go traditional, then your agent is the second biggest supporter, and then hopefully your book sells to a publishing house, in which case the editor becomes your third biggest supporter. But sometimes things happen and an editor leaves the house, an agent leaves, or in either case gets fired, which is one of the things that happened with this, where New Leaf said that, oh, this agent left amicably, and then the agent went to Twitter and was like, it was not amicable. And when an agency fires an agent fires an agent, so if an agent leaves, sometimes in their contract, they can't take their clients with them. And then it's up to their clients if they want to. Yeah. And same with editors. Sometimes they're not allowed to take their clients and projects, in which case either they're just reassigned to other people in the agency or publishing house, if it's the case with editors, or authors are given the chance to, like, do we want to go find our own way? Sometimes they're not given the chance, which is really, like, not cool. So the agent got fired. It was not amicable, despite the agency claiming so. And then because this agent had authors that they were representing, they're all in the lurch. Some of them have books that are being published like super soon. And even though losing an agent doesn't mean a publisher is going to pull the plug on their book, it's still a really bad time. And it's tough no matter what, but the timing is especially hard.
So we were talking a little bit before a couple days ago, Zara. So the people who already have their books with a publishing company, they're safe. They just lose that agent representation, that little bit of a.
So they basically lose an advocate for them who the book comes out and maybe the agent's like, this isn't enough marketing. I'm going to go to the publishing house and be like, hey, like, we want a bigger marketing budget, or we want to see more of this or whatever. The author probably isn't going to know that they can push back and ask for things like that, or even know that, hey, this isn't what should be happening. So I don't know that I would even want to do that, and things like that. Or an agent can just be like, hey, this is how a lot of emotions come up when you've published a book, whether it's indie or traditional, but an agent is oftentimes like part therapist for their authors and things like that. And they're just not going to have that anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that person that says that this is normal, it's okay, calm down, or this is not normal, let me be the go-between.
Exactly.
Kind of.
So they don't take those authors and give them to like another agent at the house. Like, I guess I assumed another agent at New Leaf.
They can, and that can. It depends on what the contract the agent had with the agency. But even if that's the case, a lot of authors feel like they're getting passed around. I don't know this.
Well, sure.
This agent doesn't know me. I don't know them. How do I know that they're going to care about my book as much as the clients that they actually picked for themselves? And like,
well, and it's a relationship, right? Like, it's all about the relationship. That's key. So like, of course, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, wait a minute, I signed up with this person and worked with them all the way through this, and now they're gonzo. The other thing I'd worry about is editorially. If they're an editorial agent and they helped me prepare the book for sale, then like does the consistency of my editing look a little different? What if the next agent is an editorial that they hook you up with? Do you know what I'm saying? Like there's so many
These
things
are real
there
concerns. Like I don't have an answer because I don't know all the agents at New Leaf well enough.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's just wild because apparently they like contacted everyone at like 10:30 at night.
And not her. Yeah.
Yeah.
People in publishing rarely have work-life balance, but you're still not supposed to actually send stuff unless it's like urgent after like 5-6 p.m. latest.
So that's even wild. That it's like
they called these people.
No, they emailed.
Mass email
10:30 at night. Yes.
Oh, girl, I would have replied all so hard on that.
I mean, for all we know, some authors might have. A lot of authors took to Twitter.
Yes.
Wow. I guess so. A couple things surprised me. One, I'm really surprised that I couldn't go with my agent somewhere else if they left. Like that.
Right.
That
because your contract with the agency.
If it was.
So it depends. So maybe an agent, when they became an agent with the agency, signed an employment contract that says you don't have a right to your clients if you choose to leave the agency or if we sever. Or maybe it's like if we fire you, you have a right to keep your clients, but if you choose to leave us, you don't, or like vice versa. It depends on the terms.
So that's a question.
I could imagine that someone who's an agent might look at what their contract is, but then see that they have probably a gem. They're like, I've got the next Harry Potter here, and I'm gonna, take this person in this book and take off. So I'm sure that there's protections for the agency and everything in contracts to keep people from doing shady things like that.
Well, for anybody watching querying, definitely think about that as a question, though. When you get your call, you want to be really specific about, okay, what happens if you leave? What happens if you're fired? What happens if you decide to leave? Do I go with you? What does your agency contract say? Like, those are things I never would have thought of to ask. But we should think about that when you get that call.
Do you have a backup? Yeah. Go ahead.
Sadly, with her, though, like, she even said she let them know, like, if you guys are willing to wait till I even know what my next, like, circumstance situation is going to be, awesome. If you don't, I understand, because I don't know how long it'll be till she finds a new agency to be a part of and all that and what that's going to look like. So it's like, even if people wanted to go with her, as of right now, it's not even an option.
Yeah, because I think that it was that they didn't let all of them go, all of the authors go, but some of them. So the authors that they kept, I think they just get passed off to somebody.
That's what someone said. They didn't, that they should have at least maybe given them to someone else, but that they didn't do.
So they're just in limbo, but they're
in this case they're just in limbo. Like they haven't been passed off. In editing with a lot of houses, they're like, we don't want to lose our project, so like the editors
can't give it to someone else.
And the other ones were just dropped. Like, sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which was really
either camp you fall in. That's terrible.
It's horrible.
I'd be livid.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm a little confused.
Like in this case, it was very clear that the agent like got fired. So like the agent's not at fault at all. But there are some cases where I feel like someone might be to an agent or an editor of like, oh my God, why'd you leave? And they'd be like, well, I got a better offer somewhere else. Like I need to make a living. I need to, the fact that I was able to I'm still able to do my job at a different place. Like there's still people, and publishing doesn't pay a lot. So like hopefully this doesn't happen to anyone, but if it happens to your agent or it happens to your editor, like don't get mad at the person. Get mad that the system doesn't allow them to keep you as a client.
Yeah.
Because if you get dropped, it's normally not them saying, I want to drop you. Normally it's, I'm literally not allowed to take you with me.
Yeah. And I feel like some of them were so shocked because earlier, I think just a couple hours before, you had dropped an email, these are the summer plans. And it just sounded like everything was fine. Only for 2 hours later, a mass email is saying so-and-so has left. It's been amicable. And they're just like, wait, what? I mean, it's the double shocker of thinking, oh, our agent just sent out the email saying everything's fine and everything's on track, to then have that happen and then be just thrown in in limbo all of a sudden. So, and then they said it was amicable, and it's like, how I know they had to be thinking, how could something be amicable if just hours before the agent was saying everything was great. So that's when it then came out, no, from the agent, she's like, no, that's not how it was. It's very upsetting.
What about Victoria's comment at 7:49? That's crazy to me. What is this about, this in this story?
Like someone had to pay $5,000.
Yes.
Eva clarified that it didn't have to, was recommended, but it is
recommended.
Incredibly odd.
Unusual, right? Like that's unusual. I mean, I've heard
their agent like kind of pushed for that because it was a whole long thing where apparently it wasn't working with them to edit the book, and so they pretty much were like, at this point, go find an editor to edit this.
But that's like a red flag. Like I know not all agents are editorial agents. When I wanted to become an agent, I was always like an editorial type person, and I was allowed to be in my grad school courses as well. And at my literary agency internships, they weren't like, you need to like pull back on that. That's not allowed or whatever. All of my mentors in those programs were also very like editorially angled. Not everyone's like that, but that to tell them like, hey, you have to shell out this amount of money to find an editor. If they had said, hey, like, I don't have time to like do the editing, which like already hurts. And you're like, should I even stay with this agent? They should, if anything, if they're recommending this at all, it should be like, hey, I think you should find an editor. Here's a list of freelancers who I know, or like, ask authors online to find good recommendations, but you shouldn't like slap on a crazy price tag in saying you need to get an editor.
Well, and I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, friends here, but I was always told if your agency is trying to hand you off to an editor at the agency, that's for sure, that is not okay. Like there's something about that's wrong. So am I right about that? Like it should not be an editor in-house, right? They should be referring you to someone outside.
That seems
I've never heard of an editor in-house at an agency. So the fact that I've never heard of that makes it seem like a very
Twitter.
Strange.
I've seen on Twitter. I've seen people talk about like these fly-by-night agencies, like where someone starts up their own thing and then they've got like an editor.
But see, like that's not. I don't want to like throw shade at anyone just starting a business in the publishing industry, because that, first of all, that would make me a huge hypocrite. But like there are certain practices that you just don't like. There are ways to innovate the publishing industry, which is very slow to innovate on a whole. And then there are just things that you're like, that's weird. Like, you don't do that. And that's one of the things I would say is weird.
Yeah.
Lots for that too. I mean,
Yeah, I would definitely be asking lots of questions if that was what was being proposed. I'd be like, what's up with that? This is true. Your agent chooses you.
Exactly.
Is it Kouri Shark? Or
yes.
Yeah. That's a good one. I know that if you're on Twitter, there are certain author discords where they like have their own whisper networks about agents.
Yes, whisper network.
There's, if you are a BIPOC author, Claribel Ortega and Kat Cho and a bunch of others who I'm now blanking on, and I feel so bad because I'm not active enough in the Discord to keep it all at the top of my head. They run one that's very active, and indie authors are also welcome, so it's not all about traditional publishing.
Oh, nice.
But they were blowing up about this whole conversation. We're talking about agencies.
If you have some resources, let me know, Zara. Send me links for if someone's got a website that can help. And I will put those in the description after, like, probably Monday or Tuesday because the holiday. But I'll put those in the description so people can have some places to go if they need some guidance on those.
And what Victoria is saying, it's true. The power dynamics can make writers feel helpless because it's hard enough to get an agent, period. So at this point, anything they suggest, you're gonna do it because you're like, what is my other option? To not have an agent anymore? Like,
I say no, what
fear of them
happens?
dropping me. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, will they drop me if I don't? Like, that'd be my feeling.
Exactly.
Yeah. And a
Yeah.
lot of people have been talking about that. This just shows how poorly, if you're not the number one selling author, the big time authors at these some of these agencies, then they don't treat you right. Like you're
Writer beware. That's the other huge one I was thinking of.
Oh, nice. Okay.
That's probably the biggest and most up-to-date one because I just looked at Query Shark and it looks like the last time they updated was at the end of March. So it's like not the most out-of-date thing, but it's.
Yeah. And then the other thing around this topic is I feel like a lot of authors, especially if you're trying to go traditional, I think indie authors might not have this fear that much about talking about the trad pub industry. But if you're going to be querying agents, you then become afraid, do I speak out online? Because then I look like I'm going to be trouble. I'm going to be a problem. If there's anything that goes wrong, I'm going to be online, blowing up Twitter with my agents doing X, Y, and Z. And so then there's that fear that I can't say anything.
Or for the agents on the flip side, I'm sure, who have clients who say stuff on Twitter and they go, oh, they're like, oh, we may have to sever our ties.
Yeah, is that what you
there should be no, and I've seen a few Twitter threads about it related, not about like, oh, you got dumped because your agent got dumped by their agency, but there shouldn't be any stigma around if your relationship with your agent isn't working out, like
move on.
Like people do it. It is scary. You feel like you're giving it up. It might take time. It might not be fun, but like it's better to have an agent that you feel totally okay with, even if it means that things get delayed, versus being like, I don't fully trust this person. I don't fully vibe with them or whatever. Because your career is basically in their hands, unless you're also a hybrid author and you can self-publish books as well. So it's, yeah.
So it's got to be, and I think because apparently there were some problems with New Leaf. Some of these problems were way, way back, like not getting emails responded to.
I remember that.
Left in the lurch. But if it's happening to dozens of authors and with varying agents, no one is saying anything because everybody's afraid to lose their agent. Then nobody knows what's going on. And so from the outside looking in, everybody's like, ooh, New Leaf. I just want to get signed with them because they're big.
They have the huge names on there. There was a few that some of my top picks, I don't remember their names right now, were from New Leaf to go query. And I'm like, no, because she does mostly YA.
She also does Sarah J. Maas.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a whole other.
I mean, to be fair, Sarah J. Maas started in YA, but it's
yeah. But it's just crazy because a lot of popular ones were from New Leaf. And
yes, there are. Gosh, I haven't looked at these names.
Yes.
Yeah, they have a lot of clients. Huge clients.
And then it just trickles out here and there. You might hear someone's having a little bit of problem with communication and people getting back with them, emails not being answered for months, not even being looked at. And you're just like, oh, that's an outlier. But then when things finally blow up, and then a lot of people start, no, that happened to me too. That happened to you. That happened to me. And then all of a sudden it's like, if everyone had known before, maybe at least that problem could have been fixed a long time ago, or people would have known maybe not query with them because if you're not big, your stuff's not going to go anywhere, or you know what I mean? Or it just, I feel like the silence of it causes.
I queried Jordan
so
Hill.
many problems.
I queried one of those. It was a quick no. So
I've heard not great things about him on Twitter specifically.
But see, this is the issue. See, what's going to happen now? Again, New Leaf has huge clients. So there's like $1 million clients. So at this point, I don't see anything happening to them. It's really
no.
just the authors
It's
getting
the
screwed
authors
over.
who were dropped because of this agent getting fired, essentially.
Yeah.
What's going to happen now? That agent is probably going to look for a job somewhere else.
Hopefully they'll
If
give
not,
it to her.
hopefully not completely leave publishing. Like in like 2021, 2022, so many editors were leaving publishing houses to like pursue jobs completely outside of publishing. And then also you had a lot of editors who were just being dropped and found out also by email. So people should not do that stuff over email. I think is something that the publishing industry needs.
What's the equivalent of breaking up over a text? Like,
I know. It's the business version of it.
Yeah, I'm like,
this one has money
at 10:30 at night.
The one thing I understand is I do understand that they didn't want like the word to get out before everybody knew and cause like a panic, you know. But still, you can call everybody individually and be like, give us to X amount of time, give us till 8 p.m. We just want to contact everybody who's going to be affected before it gets out. And
how about send out a conference call link, pull everyone on the conference call. When everyone's on, then you lead it like a meeting. Hey guys,
that's a good way.
Leadership's changing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can think through a few
anything
ways.
better than a mass email that's less than honest.
Well, and here's the thing.
It's not even.
They didn't have to straight up lie in the email.
But with the email, they can publish the email. Like, that's not even smart from a public relations perspective. Why would you give someone an email? They could put a screenshot up on Twitter. Oh, hell no. I'm going to try to get you on a call and hope you don't record it and put that on Twitter.
Right. Now everybody's going to be recording every call. Like, I'm going to record it just in case this meeting was called kind of suddenly, you know?
Yeah. Wow. Okay. That's wild. That's a big agency, lots of names. Wow.
Dude, the big clients lose trust in the agent. They know that they're cash cows and that they're not going to be like hitting the chopping block unless the agency literally goes under. So, and they're the ones keeping the agency afloat. So it's kind of a doesn't affect me situation. Like some of them might have internal qualms, but I don't see any of them like leaving the agency.
Yeah. Oh, Eva at 804. 100%. If my employer now wants to give me a year's worth of salary and email me, I'm fine with you emailing me. I will not be there.
Yes.
You're over it.
Yeah. If you get severance and it's like
money softens all blows.
It does. You know.
But if it's, hey, we're taking away your steady source of income and you find out via email, I'll be like, come on.
Fair enough. Speaking of falling on hard times, a friend of ours, JC Carpenter, has recently. So this is a good time to drop her link in the chat for her GoFundMe or her Ko-fi, both of which donations are really helpful. She's going through a lot right now. No fault of her own. Go to her channel, check it out, subscribe, watch the video, see her latest update, and she'll keep you posted on what's going on. We miss her. Love her.
Kofi is here. I don't have the GoFundMe pulled up.
Segue. Oh, here, I can put it in private for you.
Yes, capitalism music plays.
I read that as the Capitol music plays as like the theme from the Hunger Games, and I was like, that's also true.
I mean, it's appropriate.
Also quite relevant indeed.
That works too.
Yeah.
That's sad.
I'm so old. Where's my bookmark?
I love you, Barry.
Works, yeah. So also JC was luckily able to grab her laptop, and she does offer editing and proofreading services for really reasonable prices. So if you are looking for someone to do that and you also want to support JC, that's
I just messaged you back. Sorry, work's crazy. No, I just messaged you. Sorry. There's the GoFundMe. And again, community is amazing. You guys have raised $3,700 in a week, which is really incredible. And you guys are awesome, and we love you. Thank you.
Yes. And also remember, if you are not able to monetarily support JC, there are other ways that you can support. Sharing the link, subscribing to her channel, watching her videos.
Yeah.
She has a great backlist. Those are awesome ways that you can support if you are not able to support financially, which is understandable.
Yes.
So if you can't, there no guilt, no shame if you cannot.
you're in Best Buy and you walk past the computers and you pull up YouTube on all of them and then just play JT's videos on all 7. I'm not going to say anything. I'm fine with it.
Not saying nothing.
All get our watch hours our own way, folks.
Yes.
Oh,
And thank you for
goodness.
getting her to 1,000 subscribers.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was
That was
huge.
huge.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
huge.
yeah.
Yeah. I know that's something that she's wanted for a very long time.
Yeah.
So you
It's
guys
hard.
are able to make
I
that
mean, it's-
happen.
Well, I mean, also keep watching and stay
Yes.
subscribed
Yeah.
because YouTube monetization goes away if you fall below the 4,000 watch hours
Yeah.
in the past 30 days of whatever time you're looking at it, and if you fall below the 1,000. So that's
Yes.
Okay. Well, and yeah, I was going to say it's hard. And I said to her when it happened, I was like, do you realize less than 10% of channels actually hit that? So like,
Yes, you
enjoy
are.
it, you know?
yeah, like my personal YouTube channel, which I haven't used since I basically created the company, is sitting at like 925, and it's been sitting there for like half a year, and I'm just like, I can't be bothered.
The moment you go back to it, it'll pick up again. So it'll
Yeah.
happen.
Because I said it here.
Anyway, to me is like a wet fart. I'm feeling like it's more than I want to deal with today. It's like
Yeah.
you people did it the wrong way, and email was not it.
And then you have people like me. I happen to monetize at the right time and really had nothing to do with my channel. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with this, but thanks, y'all.
Or
Whoever
you do
people
me
are.
and you get monetized, but then you disappear for 6 years, so they take away your monetization. So don't do that.
Don't do that.
You can get it back, I think, right?
I mean, I have to do the
Gotta get the watch
4,000
hours.
watch hours from like fresh, like
Oh
from
my gosh.
yeah, from like scratch.
You'll get there. You'll get there.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, good
Yeah.
job, Desiree.
So,
Um,
speaking of getting those 4,000 hours, I will say Des has some really cool old videos if you're into like journaling. So if you're into that, you can rack up get her some watch hours just watching some of those really awesome old videos.
I can't watch them, but you can. By all means, have
Like,
at it,
I
friend.
remember doing this. Oh, it's so cute.
Apparently, I go through a range of hair colors because JC would screenshot them and send them to me. She's like, "Well, now you're redheaded. Now you have dark hair. Now you have highlights." I was like, "Yep, that's my chameleon stage." It was
Oh.
do you want to take Deirdre's 809, Zara, since you're Queen of Kofi? You could give a few suggestions.
Hit or miss. I have no clue what to put there. Hopefully you figure. Okay, so I have a guide on what to do if you're a writer and you want a Ko-fi page. They don't take fees from your donations like Patreon does, so I would really recommend that. I made a video about that as well, but
Could we drop
the
the link?
guide is for people who are probably in the boat of I don't have a signed book to sell. So I've self-published books myself, which means I can sell signed copies and things like that. If you're still writing your book and you have no idea what to do, you can treat it as a blog. It's better than a blog because people who follow your page for free will get an email about it like it's a newsletter. If people buy things from you, you can get their contact info. They can, if they donate to you, they can also directly message you on there. You can safely block people if you need to. They have that built in. It is just have an open tip jar. I would definitely set a goal though, because psychologically, if people know what they're giving money to, it's better. Also, it allows a progress bar, which people will see and they'll be like, hey, I want to move the bar. So they'll donate. And things like that. So there are lots of things to do, even if you don't have a book full out. You do have to put time and effort into it, like any social media platform. So if you have it and you post on it only when you have a book out, you're not going to have built up an audience, and people are going to be like, oh, I didn't even remember who this person is, and might even unfollow you if they have no connection with you. So.
Yeah. And since I don't have a book out, I kind of run mine like a mini Instagram, like every other Instagram post, I'll post it on there. Just to keep people knowing I'm still here. I'm doing things. Stuff is going to be coming, And
like most of my social media, I've abandoned mine. Zara, in private chat, I put your video.
Thank you.
Yay.
So What was our other topic? I already forgot.
Oh,
I got it.
Oh, I already remember murder. This is the
Yes.
good.
Murder.
This one killed me. Like, wait a minute.
Literally.
No, you
quite
didn't.
literally.
No, you didn't.
Um,
You actually killed him. And
With the
then
Moscow Mule, which I actually made myself, but mine is
not
Yeah.
laced with anything naughty.
I mean it's alcoholic, but yeah, nothing that'll
Unalive. Nothing that will do any unaliving. So,
What a
speaking
world.
of Moscow mules, we have an author.
Murder
from-
She Wrote. This was unlike the person who killed her husband and then wrote a book about it, or
Yes.
had written a book about it and then did it. No. This time,
Uh,
murder
Other way
she
around.
committed and then grief she wrote.
Yeah.
She wrote.
Stop it. Eva says she tried to kill. You all didn't tell me this. She tried to kill
Yes.
him.
Yeah.
Twice. Twice
Oh, you
before.
missed the conversation. You missed the conversation, Barry.
Twice
Yes.
before.
I think Barrett was a little
Okay.
bit tuned out.
All right, let's
Okay.
break this down.
Who
Go.
wants to take this one? Who wants to take
Oh,
this one? I can do
Not
it.
me.
You start.
I took the last one. Des
Okay.
seems like she is ready to go.
Yeah,
I know.
I'm ready to chime in, but not take it. So Nia, go.
Okay. If I miss anything, just do the hand raise and add it in. Okay. So, Kouri Richins, she's the author from Utah, I believe.
Mhm.
She just wrote a book, a children's book on grief. Sounds lovely, doesn't it? She's doing the rounds on the media. She's on the morning shows, some very popular morning shows, even talking about this book, and it's starting to pick up and get some hype. Well, a year ago, the reason why she wrote this book on grief is that her spouse died. Her husband died, and she has these sons, and she thought that she'd write this book to help them and to help other young children going through grief. Yes. But she's been under investigation because before her husband's death, apparently she tried to kill him twice before. They were on their way to getting a divorce. This is all allegedly.
Tried to kill
But
him.
she has been charged. This is all allegedly. I just want to make that clear.
No, on
she had tried
Valentine's
to-
Yes.
Yes. And
With a
so she
sandwich.
got fentanyl. She got fentanyl, was online ordering it,
Yep.
got the life insurance, increased the life insurance, got another life insurance policy. Well, he knew she might be trying to unalive him. So he told
his family.
he told his family, if I become unalived, I think she's trying to unalive me. So he had told his family, and she had tried to do it before. And he changed his will so that she wouldn't get these life insurance policies, these millions of dollars that she thought
But he
she was
didn't
going to
leave?
get. But I don't
were getting
understand how she had access.
Like, poison me once, shame on me. Poison me twice, by the third time.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, no, poison me once, shame on you. Poison me twice, shame on me. Third time
Yeah.
is
But the third time, I guess you die? I don't
which
know.
is what?
Well,
yeah. Literally, the third time was the
So-
charm.
Yeah. So
or
he
3
tells-
strikes you're out if
Yeah.
you're the guy.
I mean, well, he's out now. So
Well, did you see the house that she closed on the day after he unalived? The
I
day
did not
After
see
she
that.
unalived
Okay,
him, it's not like
there
he
is
just
a
went-
mansion.
It's not like
A
he just
mother
went
load
nuts.
of a mansion. I have never seen a mansion house. It was ridiculous. It was in the stage of being built. They had the framework all ready. He didn't want to buy that house. She was determined to get that house. And then by the day after, he was found by the police
Look at
unalive.
this house.
She closed on the house to get, and it's like, it's really cheap for what it is. Honestly, it was like $2 million. It's really cheap for how, because
Yeah.
maybe because it's in the middle of nowhere in Utah. But
Wait,
It's
this Utah? Were they Mormon?
This is don't know. That we don't know.
No,
But the thing is, if they get divorced before and then he dies after she's divorced, she knew she got nothing. So I feel like he should have known that he was on a timeline. The closer that they were getting to the divorce, that would have been my clue.
Well,
But he had changed the will, which she didn't know. But
yeah,
she did know that the policies would not go to her if they were divorced. So
she tried changing the policies or something like behind his back. she changed something behind his back. And then he found out again and then changed it back away from her. She kept trying to change something that would benefit her in the end, and he found out about it. Hence why eventually he was like, okay, the will is going to my sister.
Yeah, that way no matter what you keep trying to wishy-washy back and forth, in the will, I've got it all going to my sister.
Do we know?
So this whole time, I don't know how she's going on tour. What I don't understand is, does she not know she's under investigation? Does she not know that they suspect her?
Either she didn't, or she was that confident that they couldn't find anything on her.
He bought something online.
And there was like phone records and something, even though she deleted text messages the night it happened.
They can restore those.
Yeah, she said she never touched her phone because she left it in the room after the Moscow Mule was given. Because the story is that not only did she give him a Moscow Mule, she went then to her children's bedroom to read them a bedtime story. And it wasn't and that she accidentally fell asleep next to the child, woke up at 3 a.m., went back to the room, and he was where she left him on the foot of the bed, gone, that she tried to do CPR, which they confirmed what did not happen. And her phone records show that she actually was texting that entire time, so her phone was not in her room, abandoned as she claimed. So there was a lot that was not working in her favor.
5 times the legal
yes, it was.
Yeah, so you can't even say it was an accident.
Oh, she wasn't going to miss that 3rd time. I mean,
because apparently the Valentine's Day one, he gave her a sandwich. She gave him a sandwich. He took one bite of it and got violently ill. And that was Valentine's Day.
With antifreeze mayo. Like, it's got an antifreeze aioli. No, what?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, wait, you guys, she's young. Like, I just saw a picture. I was expecting.
She's only 33. 33.
So these are like little kids.
39.
Like small children.
Yeah, they're like 10 and 7 and something.
Oh, you guys, no.
That's what I'm saying, Eva. Like, after that, here a Moscow Mule. I wouldn't trust
that part. Like,
trust by the way, Zara is drinking a Moscow Mule
that I made myself.
So it's safe.
So it is safe.
And I'm going to just tell the story. Well, thank you. I'm going to tell this real quick. So I have poisoned Ricky a couple times, accidentally, not on purpose. I have given him food poisoning a couple times. I undercooked a pork chop once. We all do it, right? And then another time.
But that's food poisoning. That's not poisoning food. There's a difference.
Okay, but that's my point.
Word order matters.
But here's a good example. My point is, I accidentally food poisoned my husband, and he did not eat my food for a long time afterwards. It took a while and some coaxing, as you can imagine. But so that was the part for me. I wasn't trying. I saw Eva's point about, you don't do the why didn't he leave. I get that part. But the eating the food, I feel like
yeah.
Especially drinks. Like, come on. Did you not watch Sleeping Beauty? Like, that's how they got her.
Like, I'm thinking, how nice must she have been pretending to be
for him to let his guard down?
Yeah, for him to let his guard down. Because I'm like,
that's what we've been talking about, Joanne. Well, I know that you've been asking about Kofi in the chat, and I'm answering. But yes, this is what we've been talking about.
This is our big topic.
I was like, wait, we were talking about Kofi's. Who died? So I was like, what happened?
Oh my gosh, Eva, she's right. All of this just is like a classic. Wow.
Yeah, and the thing is, right, like a week before she finally actually was able to accomplish her goal, she had taken out another life insurance policy. I think because she knew that he had put the other life insurance policies in the sister's name. I don't know if she was able to get any of them, but here's the thing: I know that if you are unalived under suspicious circumstances, the insurance policies don't want to pay out. They can ask for investigations too.
Yeah,
like, we don't want to give out this money.
It can't be contested like a will can, but Nia just said, there are circumstances where it can be like, hold up.
And she did just so much that didn't help her. Like, again, closing on the $2 million house the day after. And then apparently a couple days after, she also got a locksmith or someone to drill into a safe of his, because there was but supposedly there was like at least $100,000 possibly in there. So she was having someone drill it open.
Also, wow, people having this kind of money. I'm just like,
what did I mean?
Yeah. Do you want me to?
I did not expect that from just looking at them either.
Hold on, I forgot how to spell the.
I did see the book cover, but I don't have it pulled up.
I was not. I'm like, what did you guys do for a living?
I gotta pull up. Because now I know.
I was like,
Yeah, I forgot how to spell the author's name, or I'd look it up and pull it up.
Hang on, I got you. I've been reading the article about
Kouri.
She did real estate eeventually, but I'm like
Richins, Richins.
I was just like, what did you guys make? What kind of money to be able to even think about getting this like huge mansion? It's not even a mansion, it's a mansion.
He had a masonry business. And it was in Utah. So
yes, it was Utah, Eva.
Yep.
Just
those trades, those trades.
So many like I'm just like, wow.
Okay, I found the image. Nope, that's a crop. New York Times, why'd you crop it?
And she literally sent a message to someone wanting $900 of fentanyl pills in a text. Yeah. Like, then I also look at her and I'm like, I get that he wasn't smart enough to not eat your food because you weren't smart enough to cover up your text messages. You guys, I can't. Now I'm back around to the book and I'm like,
And then a year, she took that year. Oh, no, wait. The book, she didn't even write it. Did you know about that, Nia?
No.
There is a service.
Did she use AI?
I don't know. There is a service that
was not
sorry about the ad. Hold on.
There's a service that kind of is like ghostwriting.
Yes,
everything. They will do everything from like the cover, you give them the ideas, they'll write the book, everything. She left them a review, and they showed the review that she left with her name on it. That was actually just like a couple weeks after she released it, saying that she highly recommends them because they took her ideas and the images and they did a great job. So she didn't even write it herself.
She's like grief.
So wait, how is she getting on all these shows? She passed it off as writing it?
Someone else wrote this and she got all of these like huge morning shows.
But she passed it off as writing for herself because there's no way
that she wrote it. Yep, she says confidently that she wrote this book because she looked throughout the internet and couldn't find anything that was remotely similar.
So the company also going to sue her?
Who the heck knows? But yeah, so for Grief for Children, and there was a series planned to come out. There was going to be more. There was a series. There was like 3 more that were in line.
What's the next book? My Mom Killed My Dad?
No, it was something about a daughter and the mother losing a daughter losing a mother this time. And
so what? She was trying to pull off Othello.
Check on Kouri's mom.
Yeah.
Is her mom okay?
You know what? That lady right there is why my mom wouldn't let me spend the night at people's houses when I was a kid. That lady, she was like, "No, you're not staying at their house. No, you can come home." No,
my mom was the same way. She's like, "You don't know what people are like behind closed doors." I'm like,
really? Home.
Now that I'm
the arguments I heard between my classmates' parents because everyone else would fall asleep early and I just like didn't trust sleeping in a place that I didn't know. Oof.
Oh God, no! My mother wasn't. But yeah, Deidre, it's true. The company can't sue if they are just ghostwriters.
Oh, they're ghostwriters. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
They provide like a ghostwriting. Yeah, no, they provide a ghostwriting like service. I forgot what the name of it is, but they do everything from the cover and.
Yeah. Ghostwriters, I'd be like, can we have our books back?
And look at the okay. If you guys zoom in at the father there.
Yes. I keep circling him with my mouse. Can't see it. Look
happy
at that.
And often. And that looks like him. The beard, the hat. Yes, Barrett.
And I'm gonna say this is all still allegedly because by some strange twist of fate, it could turn out that this was an accident.
Could it, girl?
Could it?
No. You know what? Okay, here's the thing. When I first heard this story, it was very early on before I heard the details. it was just like she's being accused of unaliving her husband because of a fentanyl overdose. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe they were hanging out and doing the fentanyl together and he had too much, because with some people it doesn't take much fentanyl. You've heard of these incidents where a little bit of fentanyl or bad fentanyl takes somebody out.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, oh, it's probably an accident. They were probably mixing it in their drinks, just having a little bit of fun, maybe. I don't know what people do. And it was an accident. And so then they were like, and then there were these phone calls. I was like, well, maybe she was calling because she was trying to get her hookup. And then it was everything else. I was like, nope, never mind.
Can't justify it.
I got nothing.
I will say, if you're worried about someone poisoning you with food, arsenic tastes like almonds.
We're writers. We know these things. FBI.
For writing research. We know these.
Well, it's like, of all the things, I mean, for crying out loud, use some windshield washer solution. Like, be original. What is this? Fentanyl? Like, I don't know.
That, I mean, it's not that easy to get. You have to know the right
trail to get
wait,
it. Like,
okay, it might be cyanide that tastes like almonds.
Oh,
Google also says arsenic, so I don't think it's both though.
I feel like arsenic is classic though. I mean, that, if you're gonna
it is very classic.
Arsenic in Old Place.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm gonna go with an original. I'm most offended by the
arsenic has no taste, smell, or color. So I was wrong. It was cyanide. I'm sorry. I should have remembered that from the Imitation Game.
Well,
yeah, if she'd have been a writer, she would have had like tons and tons and tons of different ways to unalive somebody on her computer, and that would have totally confused the whole situation. This part, I just looked up some crazy
but
stuff.
But there was a post in a Facebook group, and I rarely go on Facebook, and it had been a tweet, but someone screenshot it and posted it on Facebook. And you know when it's like, oh, my son or my nephew or whatever, and you're like, did that kid actually say that, or are you just saying that?
Oh gosh,
it sounds like your kid is like super smart or whatever.
Exactly.
So it was like, my son said, we always talk about the people who had stuff in their search histories, but what about the people who are like killers and have nothing in their search history?
I know, right? They're smart. They're like,
yeah, because they don't.
They just thought it up. They just thought it up because they're that sinister.
Honestly, the part I'm most offended about in seriousness, this is hilarious. In seriousness, though, the part that bugs me is those kids someday, like, let's say she is convicted, because maybe it's allegedly, but I don't think it's allegedly. But anyway, maybe it is. And she's not innocent and goes to prison. Her kids are going to grow up and look at that book and be like, oh, that looks like daddy. And then I don't even know.
You didn't think about them at all.
The kids are going to be messed up because at some point they're going to find out, like, even if they don't have access to the internet, they're going to go to school and someone will be like, hey.
Oh,
your mom.
Yeah, there'll be that kid in class who loves books. Who will be like, I heard your mom plagiarized her, or, paid someone to write her books, right? And then he'll be like, she also murdered my dad, but that's the part you're upset about. And little Barrett would have been like, yeah loser.
Well, no, books. I think the kid is going to be like, hey, I heard your mom murdered your dad. And they're going to be like, what?
Santa's
what are you talking about?
That moment.
That's actually a real moment. Steal that prompt. That's good. Can I borrow your phone? Does search. Thanks. Kills you.
Checkmate. Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Use insulin. If you put like an air bubble in a needle or an IV, that does it. But if you blow into it, that can be. They can tell whether it's breath or not. I've watched way too much NCIS.
Carbon monoxide's a winner every time. Like,
Well, the carbon monoxide versus oxygen levels is what allows them to tell, like, hey, someone deliberately like blew into this thing. It wasn't just like a naturally occurring air bubble that they didn't get rid of.
Yeah, one of the true crime ones that I watched a month or so ago. I don't know why I stay up late and watch these things, but yeah, it was carbon monoxide, and the family was like, "No, that's not right." But apparently,
carbon monoxide makes you look really red.
Yeah,
like carbon monoxide poisoning.
The girlfriend did it. Like, she knocked him out first, and then left him in the car and was like, oh, we'll pretend like he was sitting in the car talking on the phone or something. Something she tried to pull. And the sister,
like hang out in the garage with the car. Talking to
the sister was like, no, check into the ex-girlfriend.
And how do you knock them out without like that being evidenced after? That's clearly they were knocked out.
Fentanyl.
Yeah.
No, there you go that way. Yes, there you go.
I could say something, but I was like, I really don't need to give like an FBI agent more. Like, why does she know
Yeah,
this? I swear it's all on SAS. I'm just not gonna say.
Like we're watching this video. If anybody who's near or dear to us goes off in any of these ways, we'll be under investigation.
I'm really sad about the Santa and the Tooth Fairy. I wonder how old the nephew was, because there is an age where you're like, yeah, I know. This did take a dark turn, but it's murder, and Daddy's like, yay in heaven.
I know.
And she did it. And she did it. That's the.
Can you imagine Nia doing the art? She called him and like, so it's my husband, and I want him to be like, yay, I can't get poisoned in heaven. And you'd be like, that's
Oh no. I mean, that here's the thing. How do you sleep at night? Like, how do you just go on with your life like nothing?
Probably takes
like,
an Ambien and knocks herself out. In a
How do you do the talk
face your children? Face your children.
How do you go on television and talk about
sociopath
and see his family?
Sociopath.
It's just crazy to think
that,
about.
and that must have been just so hard for his family watching her, like living it up.
Can you imagine? Especially if they knew. Come on, because the whole family's like, we told.
And they knew.
They were all like, we told him after the sandwich.
Since that
the cyanide sandwich.
And he goes, what?
Oh. So, guys, that is what we had to talk about tonight. We are going to. I'm going to be thinking about this. This is one of those cases I'm going to be following because I'm still like on some of the things like, but how? Like, it's baffling to me. It's baffling to me. Like, zero conscience. How she was able to do the TV rounds with a straight face.
Sociopath.
That's just
also, even if she was bad at covering her tracks, she organized it, which makes her a sociopath and not a psychopath. I did a whole paper in undergrad about the difference.
Oh, wait, what's the difference? The psychopath is just crazy for crazy's sake, and the sociopath is like
not crazy, but they both lack empathy. They are both thrill-seeking because they don't experience things that normal people do. So they'll be reckless, or they'll like torture people because they don't understand like how it affects other people. They literally just it's not in their brain. But psychopaths are a lot more disorganized and are more likely to kill people in the heat of a moment versus a sociopath is like, I've planned this whole thing. Technically, psychopathy is now no longer its own category, and it's just under sociopathy. And I highly disagree with the DSM having done that. I was like, there are differences. Should have kept them.
My husband just burped right outside the door, and I was like, if they heard that, I'm going to poison him. Just kidding.
Don't eat the pork chops, Bricky.
Oh, no, I already know that. He's never asked for me to make that again. And it was so funny, too, bless his heart, because he was like, are they supposed to be rare? And I was like, ooh, let me have that one back.
No. Pork chops are never supposed to be rare.
Certain meats can be rare. Pork chops is not one of them.
There was a little, I told him it was a little pink. I was like, quit being so pink.
No.
That's still not okay.
If your pork or chicken has pink, no.
He learned. We all learned that day. Oh, bless.
Yes.
Literally stood outside this door and burped, though, just a minute ago. I was like, seriously? I don't know if you guys, could you hear it? No, you couldn't?
No. But no, I think I keep hearing my upstore neighbors or something. It's like they're doing something. They either have a really loud dog or they're doing something on their floor, and it constantly sounds like there's like something like someone. I don't know.
You live below a rock.
You just romance out there, like, oh no.
I know. I know Des is like, I got an answer to that.
Maybe. Oh.
I have one now. That was actually a gift after that from someone.
From Ricky?
Did Ricky buy it for you?
Ricky's mom?
No, it was not. It was for my mother. It was like, oh, by the way, you should have a meat thermometer.
Before we eat at your house again, here.
I don't know.
I'll teach you how to use it too.
Oh my God.
Like, don't touch the outside of the meat. You actually got to stick it in
there.
to the middle.
Mine went completely random because obviously we're now just about how to make food, not because we're potentially, actually trying to hurt people. Whenever my mom and I are cooking together, if we're making chicken, she'll be like, it's still pink. And I'm like, no, that's your light. And then I take it out from underneath the light that's above her stove and it's like perfectly white in between. I was like, see, you're going to overcook it.
Oh no. Your mom needs to change that light. That
light's not helpful.
It's like a yellow light, so it shouldn't be making it look pink, but it does because the moment you move it somewhere else in the kitchen, I'm like,
it looks normal.
I'm right. Also, the meat thermometer agrees with me. Like, we're done. It's done.
It's like there's like no more dry chicken. No more dry chicken.
Probably feel fancy. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right, guys. I told you I wasn't going to keep you guys more than an hour, and we're just a teensy bit over an hour. So we didn't do too bad. We didn't do too bad.
I'm not going to answer this.
I have no idea.
Oh, group every time.
Oh my gosh.
Would you pull a President Snow and poison yourself, but then have the antidote for yourself?
Wouldn't you? Or not even.
Although he was dumb. He didn't do it prophylactically. So he permanently messed up his throat.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't have gone that far. I wouldn't have been that brave. I just would have poisoned myself less. You know what I mean? I would have taken $100 fentanyl and everybody else.
Just put enough on your tongue that they know that you got some. It's like I was about to drink it, but then I got a phone call and I stopped drinking because I was talking on the phone.
What Jess said. Look at that.
Yes.
Really?
Okay.
Getting yourself a
just Vampire Diaries, Catherine, Vervain.
Yep. Just a little bit of Vervain at a time until it doesn't bother you anymore. And also that was one of in Bullet Train. That was one of the plots, the subplots from the past, is that there was a wedding. The Bad Bunny character, the reason why he was out for revenge is because his wedding was ruined by everybody was poisoned, his new bride and the whole wedding party. But the only reason why he didn't drink his drink is because the guy that he ran into bumped into him and spilled his drink. So he would have been amongst them, but he didn't have a drink.
Right, but it didn't mess up his hand or anything, or
no, it's just a poison if you had to swallow it. Wow. It had to be internal.
It had to be ingested.
Ingested or injected. It had to be put into the body, not on
into the blood. It has to get into the bloodstream.
Yeah.
You guys should look up the Assassin's Teapot on YouTube. It's a really cool thing about physics.
The Assassin's Teapot?
Assassin's Teapot.
Physics.
Oh. I got a bunch of actual teapots that I could buy on Amazon. That's
Esther pretty much sums up
today. I think it's fudge. Now I can't think. I can see the logo for the YouTube channel so clearly. He's a guy who explains a lot of science things.
Oh, Bill Nye?
Bill Nye the Science Guy?
No, it's not. He did not make that Assassin's Teapot.
I don't know. Oh, good night, Esther.
Okay,
she summed up today pretty much.
She said don't commit murder.
Do your research for agents and don't commit.
Don't.
Yes.
Okay, I found the YouTube video and it's here.
Oh, perfect. Okay,
oh, sorry. I accidentally shared it at the last timestamp that I'd watched at. So obviously go back to the beginning. But
cool. We'll do.
Done.
All right. Anything else you guys wanted to chat about before we take off? Because we are going to have a summer break. I think we're going to come back. I think we're going to take off June and July. We might come back at the end of August and be like, do a I know what you did this summer style.
You think we're going to come back, or we're going to come back?
Yeah.
I know we're going to come back. I know we're going to come back, but I think our theme is going to be kind of the I know what you did last summer kind of thing, where we get to just pick our favorite, whatever crazy things happen over the summer. We'll all be like, oh, well, I read about this or I saw this happen. And we can just talk about our favorite strange things that happened over the summer.
During our group chat thing, we just need to, anytime something happens, put it in there so we can
so we can all look at it and be like,
everything that's
like, what?
We know what we could do is that every month we put stuff in and then we pick like 3 from that month and then they like go to the next round so that we don't have to scroll through all of them.
Oh, nice. Okay. That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And you guys too. I know a lot of people will pop in and give me some really cool ideas. So feel free, if you see something that you think is very strange or very interesting or funny, you just shoot me a message over on IG, and I will collect them and share them with our friends. Because I got the one where I said, did you hear about the lady who wrote the children's book? And I was like, I just heard about it myself. Thank you for sending it to me, though.
Thank you for the tip.
Yep. Goodness gracious, wild.
Like I'm watching it as we speak or as we chat. So yes, I do appreciate it when you guys send me info and let me know things that are going on. But do know we don't like to talk about people directly in the community. You know, we try to keep it othered unless it's something that's incredibly relevant that needs to be addressed. Because we're not here to bash any other Authortubers or anything like that. That's not what we're here for. So if there's internal conflicts and internal dramas, y'all work that out.
It's yourself.
Work that out.
We're just talking about the overall industry. Because
I want to hear it. I want to watch the video. I'll totally watch the video.
DMs with
I'll give the comments like, oh, they did.
Yeah, if they put it out there in a video, send me the video. I will watch it though.
Yeah, we'll watch
but it won't become a topic on here. So just save it.
Yeah, big people that they don't care about us. We can't hurt them. If we want to talk about some huge author, they don't care. They're like, whatever.
We'll be like, oh, did you hear that this YouTube channel talked about you? Who?
Yeah,
I know.
It's like, she made a quarter making that video or doing that live, made a whole 25 cents while I wipe my tears with my millions. I don't care.
Yeah. Although some authors will get on Twitter and get back into it, and I'm like, just leave it be. Like,
no, just go count your dollar bills and leave the ranters alone. Just go count your money. Oh gosh, some of them are golden though. I do love a Nora Roberts callback.
Oh,
yeah,
right. I was just thinking myself, Deborah is exactly what I thought of, as I've explained to you twice. Deborah, that will always be good to me.
Yes,
people
I love that.
In publishing need to know not to mess with Nora Roberts. It's like, how many times does this lesson need to be learned?
Right.
Yes, and you can always send me those too. If I miss, because I'm not on Twitter very much, but if I miss a Nora Roberts clapback, please do send it to me. I want to see it. All right. Well, thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you everybody in the chat for being a wonderful chat. You guys always are. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. And thank you to my fabulous co-hosts. I always enjoy coming on here with you guys. You guys are great to chat with and just great to hang around with overall. So we're going to let you guys do some outros, and then we'll see everybody later throughout the weeks. We're all over the place. Barrett, you get to start us off, and we'll swing it around.
Thanks for having me. This was a fun season. I love you guys, and I'm so glad for the new additions. It's been fun with Des and Esther. We've missed you, Zara, so I'm glad you're back. And I hope you're back again in the fall when we come back more, so we can get more of you. Don't forget to support JC.
That's the plan.
Yes, Her link is out there for the GoFundMe or Ko-fi. Both help out and go a long way. And again, a free way to help is to just subscribe, watch the playlists, and continue to support there. I hope I'll see you around the interwebs, and thanks for having me. Des.
And friends, again, I'm Desiree M. Ortega. You find me on YouTube under Coffee Reading Writing, on Twitch, twitch.tv/Desiree M. Ortega. And my pen name that I co-write with Tiffany L. Russell is Desiree. So you can find us all over the interwebs under Desiree. And yeah, this has been really fun. I'm really excited to have been added to this lovely bunch. And I've been enjoying my time here. So thank you guys so much for having me. Zara.
My name is Zara Hoffman. I'm the self-published author of 7 books, one half of the Writers Podcast, and most importantly nowadays, the founder of Inimitable Books, a small publishing company dedicated to uplifting marginalized voices without pigeonholing authors into writing about their trauma. Our first title, The Legionnaire, which now is a new cover, but I don't currently have a copy of, is coming out October 3rd of this year. It is a new adult sword and sorcery fantasy novel. Very cool. I think everyone will love it. And then our second title, Down the Well by Veronica King, who you might know better as Kelly Wright or Inksteady here on YouTube, is a young adult portal fantasy. It is coming out December 5th of this year. It is Alice in Wonderland vibes with a murder mystery and family drama, so check that out.
Yeah. And you're here on my channel. I'm Nia, the Vixen of Fiction. You can find me on YouTube on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. I host this with these fabulous people. We'll be on a summer break, but we will be back in August to find out what people were up to in the bookish and writing community. And I host Scripting the Book, which we will be doing a marathon summer, starting with Shadow and Bone, season 1 and 2, and then Game of Thrones, which is going to be wild. So we've got Zara's going to be joining us for Shadow and Bone. I'm excited about that. So stay tuned. Everybody's linked below. The YouTube links were messing up like crazy when I don't know what they're doing over on StreamYard, but they were doing a weird thing where they were just like disjointing. But I'm going to try and fix them once the video's up and just fix them straight through YouTube. So everybody's links should be good here shortly, probably tomorrow. I don't know. God. But I mean, you know these guys. You know these guys. Come on. But yeah, so I will be around. Thank you guys so much. Thank you everybody in the chat for being such an awesome chat and hanging out with us tonight. And remember, send us all those cool things and support JC. Woohoo! And we are going to say good night. Bye.
Bye.